That will be what I do all night. I'm looking forward to it, though, and I think that we should dress up. I think that we should go out like we're going out on the town. Don't you?
Well, sure, if you want.
Okay, this is like pulling teeth today. This is going to be a very hard show to do. I can tell already. Will, what do you just want to go in shorts and white socks with tennis shoes?
That's my normal. This is my look. The ladies dig this.
Yeah, once again,
don't.
That's why I'm single again.
No, they don't. Yes.
Once again, we must defend the Spiewak uniform.
The Spiewak uniform of socks extending from outside your gym shoes while wearing shorts?
Socks extending from your stocks.
I think the appropriate attire when you're wearing gym shoes and shorts is to have the anklets, which only means you are...
And if I had some of those, maybe I would have worn them. And if I was gay, I might have some of those. There's nothing wrong with being gay. I just have no
there's
fashion
nothing wrong
sense.
with that whatsoever. But, right now I would say you have the fashion sense of a heterosexual man
Absolutely.
who does not want to get laid.
Well,
Steve's laughing, and, here he is in his sweats.
I'm not wearing sweats.
What is this outfit you're wearing today? What designer are you wearing?
LL Bean.
How very New England of him.
It's I've given up.
Jason, I think that I'm going to dress up because I just want to dress up. But I think based on the type of person you've been on this show, you got to wear the Ted shirt.
I think I have to wear the Ted shirt, don't I?
Yeah. I think that has to be a given. Because
Didn't
I
wear
have
it
a
this week.
bad feeling that
2 weeks in a
somebody is
row.
going to be dumb enough to really want a picture with us.
And this is what, your wife?
No.
I'm just trying to imagine the pictures on
were they
Facebook of
smoking?
people lost between the two of you.
Yeah, Celine is going to want
They'll
to
be
take
lost.
pictures of us.
They'll be lost if they're settling for a picture of us.
You've got these small people sort of peeking out from the crevices. It's just
Well, it'll go really nice on the other side of the mantle from the picture of them between Rob and Mike.
Moon Girl
Nice.
wants to know if the only reason you want to dress up is so you can be Wayne Newton.
I'm going to dress all in black because I want to do
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash. Absolutely. The world on fire. Yeah, why not? I don't want to be Wayne
fell
Newton.
into a burning ring of fire.
Why would I want to do... That was me with the peppers last week.
Is that why you bought the moistened wipes?
Oh, my God, they're heavenly.
Did you get the ones with aloe in them? If you're
I'm
eating
telling
hot
you
stuff,
right now. Go to the MikeOMareShow.com website, click on the Amazon link, and buy your Cottonelle wet wipes today. They're the most amazing product ever since peanut butter and white bread.
I know you guys always
And they
accuse
come in
me-
handy after peanut butter and white bread.
And I know you guys always accuse me of having my nose way up Marcus's ass. It's a lot more pleasant now.
Always trying to accommodate others. All right, let's take a quick break because you guys are really showing the energy today. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully we can pick up the energy in the next segment. Let's talk about tech problems because there were a lot this week stirring around TMOS
And
of course, and not just this show. And then, of course, I actually have a clip from Tech 411 because we had a major release from Apple as Jason is playing on his iPhone, which he will not be able to replace due to his new status.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that when we get back right here on Omericast.
Hey folks, it's your old buddy Rob Spiewak with a question. Do you miss the way radio used to be? Oh, it might take you a while to remember it, but there was a time when you actually used to listen to the radio for music. Well, thanks to more broadcasting, you still can, because each and every week I do the Rob Spiewak Show, 4 hours of boss radio that is fast, funny, and it is fun. Check it out, robradio.com, and don't forget the extra B. That stands for music. Rob Spiewak.
Welcome back to Omericast, and we just spent a fun segment talking about Omericon, which got us nowhere. So hopefully this segment will pick up the pace, and Jason and Will and Steve will participate a little bit more, and we'll see what happens. Let's talk tech. The big announcement on tech.
Wait a second.
What?
Wait a second. Jason, the last time we were both on the show, he complained about how much we took over. The time before, he complained about how much we took over. So we try and go back, and we try and be a little bit nicer and politer, and what the hell does he do? He complains that we're not participating enough. Do you get the sense that this guy is kind of like my ex-wife, never going to be satisfied with anything?
Do you get the feeling that it's kind of like being a cast member on the Mike O'Mara Show?
Yeah.
Always be disappointed.
That's right.
You know?
Well, we certainly aren't happy.
I was hoping for controlled discussion, but lively discussion this time. You guys have a tendency to step on each other. And, I mean, you step on each other like two elephants fighting over a mouse. So I would like to just keep it controlled but lively. That's all I'm looking for.
Jason, do elephants fight over mice?
I don't believe so.
Pretty sure they are supposed to be afraid of them.
They do actually run away from them. They are actually scared of them.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, they did that on Mythbusters. They pulled like a little coconut off a mouse as an elephant would come up the path and it would literally pull back and raise its legs and then just kind of back out of the room like a white guy uncomfortably in a room full of black people when he's slightly prejudiced.
And I always, this is weird and totally, this is totally off topic, but I kind of wonder whether it actually has anything to do with the mice or whether it's just that from that height they just see something move. They have no idea whether they're going to step on a scorpion or a snake or whether they just want to get away from that.
The small size, yeah.
Welcome to Zoology Corner, and let's move on to Tech Talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were we participating too much?
I just remember the elephant and the mouse on Looney Tunes. And yes, I remember the...
Wait, what elephant and mouse on Looney Tunes?
There was a Looney Tunes cartoon, or it was one of the old...
Tom and Jerry, maybe.
Was it Tom and Jerry?
I'm having a hard time remembering an elephant and a mouse in any cartoon.
It was one of the older cartoons. It wasn't on Dexter's Laboratory or one of these.
Is it one of the ones you used to go to the
modern
machine with the little binoculars and put the nickel into and crank the side?
Yes, at the fair. When I used to go to Coney Island.
At the Tunbridge Fair?
Probably Dumbo.
No. No. I don't watch Dumbo.
You are Dumbo.
There was a mouse in Dumbo.
I've seen your ears. When you take those things off, it's amazing. He takes the headphones on.
Boy, it is like the Mike O'Mara Show in here.
Didn't they also do that in that Christmas like puppet animation? Not the one with the dentist.
What, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Yeah.
Was that a hard pull for you?
Wasn't there Wasn't there one of the characters who had the big ears?
Yeah.
It was the lumberjack, right?
Cornelius had relatively large ears.
No, it was the baby. It was the
New Year's baby. It's New Year's baby, exactly.
New Year's baby. Okay, shut up. Let's move on. We got to talk about what's going on more broadcasting. All right, Tech 4-in-1 this week, the big announcement.
Forbid we be entertaining at all.
Still waiting on the elephant and the mouse cartoon.
According to Moon Girl, the elephant ran up a tree and the tree bends. She says she remembers the cartoon you're talking about. So at least somebody thinks you're not full of it.
Thanks a lot. All right, let's move on. This is from Tech 4-in-1 this week, talking about the big announcement from Apple.
And then they went right into the iPhone 5C, and they talked all about the colors. And the colors are green, white, blue, pink, yellow. Now, what's your favorite one? They're all very bright and very in your face and shiny. I mean,
let's go with ladies first, if you don't mind. Katie Cole. Yeah, well, girls are into colors.
Well, why are we talking about colors? This is boring.
It is boring.
Oh, wow.
I'd like to move on if we can.
Nice callback.
Yeah.
Jesus. These colors blow. No one cares.
Yeah, but now
I don't care about colors. How fast is it? How's the battery life?
Yeah, no one cares. That's the only thing they talked about the whole keynote. All right, colors. I think they've done something interesting where they didn't just show you the array of 5Cs with the kind of the rainbow of colors. I like the blue one if you're going to pick a color off the bat. I like the way that they have accessories to actually match your phone.
They have a whole series of cases with like holes in them.
Yeah.
And they just kind of make them two contrasting colors. To me, I just don't see this taking off in America, but overseas, like maybe Asia, I think this could be very popular.
Girls are going to be into it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they want anything bright. Kids are going to love it. For example, my niece and nephew are looking to getting into iPod, and if they have them in these colors, they'll get them in the colors. That's probably what they'll do. You and I are grown men. You know, we need solid colors, not neat.
So is array of 5Cs what Oscar was hanging out with when he was last time looking for a girlfriend?
Possibly.
I think that's the name of his gang.
Okay.
So we heard about on the bonus show.
You've got an Apple.
Yeah.
Which one do you have?
4.
But due to your current status, probably not going to upgrade.
No.
If your
I was
status
going to upgrade anyhow.
You weren't? No. Why not?
Well, if I upgrade, I'll probably go to a Samsung.
Really?
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh, Steve pipes in.
Well, apparently we have a new member of Tech 411 in the studio.
That's right. All right.
I have a Galaxy Note from Samsung. That's my work phone.
I'm not 100% one way or the other. I'm not particularly impressed by anything they did with the 5.
Yeah.
Or the 5S. I mean, I thought I thought W. Kamau Bell had a great line the other night on a show, and they played the commercial where Apple's like, a seamless one-piece shell. And he's like, do you mean plastic? And like they're going back and forth. He's like, it's plastic, right? And then they finally go, one-piece plastic design. He's like, finally, there we go. It's plastic. Like, wow, that's our big upgrade. Apple made their phone out of plastic like everybody else.
Well,
Congratulations.
I've heard
it's only the 5C that's plastic. The 5S
5C.
is still aluminum.
I've heard from 3 or 4 different people, and I think one of them was actually on the show, but that the new Nokia phone is supposed to be really, really awesome and have a great camera and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a Windows phone, and I hate to say
Crashes
this
all the
because I've
time.
got a friend who works for Microsoft, and he's always trying to get me to go work for them, and if they ever hear this,
Poor you.
that's never going to happen. But I couldn't use a Windows phone. I've tried. I can't make the damn thing. I mean, most of these things are intuitive to me. I'm a tech guy in general. I program computers for a living. I can't figure out how to make a damn Windows phone work.
In case they are listening, I do like Microsoft Windows products.
I like some of their products.
I can be
don't like
bought.
the phones. I don't like the phones at all.
Oscar brought up the Nokia phone on the show on Tech 411 this week and saw it, played with it, loved the phone, basically because of the camera feature.
Right.
The camera on it is fantastic if you can get the camera app on it not to stop crashing.
So, Steve, tell us about your thoughts on it, because obviously you could care less about this announcement, and you're like,
wait a second.
Look, just get the Samsung and move on.
Moon Girl just said
Not at
something,
all.
and I want to see if she typoed or correct. She said it has a 41 megapixel camera.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Holy crap!
Yeah, with an actual zoom.
The Nokia?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a 41 megapixel. Supposedly, it's a marketing. It's not really. It's not. Any point and shoot is going to have a much. Even if it's like an 8 megapixel, it's going to be much sharper because it has a larger sensor. The sensor is so small on it.
It's got like an actual, like lens almost on it. It's the
Yeah.
phone gets thicker at the point of the camera.
Of course, now here's the
Really?
problem. Here's the
You haven't
problem.
seen those commercials with everybody fighting?
Well, I'm not
to
sure
record the
why I
school
would want
play?
a 41 megapixel camera unless you're trying to look at the color of my pores.
Well, and I'm also thinking that the concern that I would have with something like that is I'm always worried about scratching the lens to the camera on the phone.
Yeah.
And if you've got a much bigger lens, there's a much bigger chance that over time, you first get the thing, you're getting beautiful pictures, and then 6 months, a year into it, all of a sudden you're getting these really crappy pictures because you've got scratches all over the lens.
Yeah, and I don't believe they use the sapphire crystal like the Apple products do, so that they are scratch resistant.
Well, what is your favorite phone? It's a Samsung, Steve?
No, actually, I have an iPhone 5 now. I mean, I've been debating all week if I'm going to upgrade to the 5S. If you already have a 5, it's not that compelling, and I think the iPhone 6 is going to be like a much larger phone and be a more significant upgrade. So I usually wait for the initial number version upgrades, like when they went from 4 to 5 and next one.
How much of an upgrade was the 5 from the 4 series?
Oh, it's tremendous. It's a bigger screen, so you have an extra row of icons. You have more
I have a
area for
Galaxy
your...
Note. It's not a big screen. It's a medium-sized screen. The Galaxy Note.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
is
you're in a
big screen.
whole different class. You're using a phablet. You're not even using a phone. So, but as far as the announcement is concerned, there's a faster processor. There's actually an additional processor because of the fact that now they've got the fingerprint access. I know. I mean, honestly, I could care less.
Right.
I've worked with those things before on computers.
They suck.
It's exactly. It's a gimmick. I've yet to see one of those things that either reliably reads your fingerprint and reliably tells it. I mean, I had one at one point that was supposed to be really secure. I mean, it wasn't a phone. It was an app for the computer. But you'd put your thumb on the thing, and anybody could put their thumb on the thing, and it would unlock about half the time. And about half the time, it wouldn't with me. It was just it's a thumbprint. Therefore, I'll open up.
Granted, a lot of the implementations of that have been pretty bad. But HP had a PDA like 5-6 years ago, I had one, and it worked very well, and it's very similar.
Steve had a
technology.
public display of affection with HP.
It is going to be exactly 8 days after the release of that product that the first wave of bitching lands, and it's going to be, can't get the goddamn fingerprint to unlock my phone.
Yeah.
I can't get access to my phone when I want to get access to my phone. It's,
Or
it's
else
like
everybody else
like
in my family can get into it as well.
It's like the Louis C.K. clip they played on the show this week, talking about technology being wasted and the lack of patience, and that's true. But at the same time, I mean, God, I have days where the lock screen doesn't unlock correctly on the phone. Okay, so it takes a moment or two to be able to access it and slide the bar and do whatever else. I've worked with fingerprint things at my now former job, and they work about half the time, and you sit there waiting to log into a computer that when you were using a password you were into pretty quickly.
It's too bad Vinny's not here. He's worked with fingerprint things as well.
And I just want to point out, it does have a fallback to a passcode. So
I'm sure
if
it
you
does,
get annoyed or whatever, if it shouldn't work, I think it's more for when you're wearing gloves or like.
I think it was Apple. They no longer have Steve Jobs, and they're trying to come up with what's going to be the whiz-bang thing. They were just going to say, "Oh, I got to have this," and they couldn't think of anything good. So, like, I know fingerprint scanning. People will think that's really cool.
I don't think that's the case at all, because they
How
always.
about this? How about this for technology thought? Why did they change They've become too brand-centric since he died. They are about maintaining their product and forcing more product on you. They're changing their pins on the phone so that you can't use aftermarket connectors. Everything's got to go through them now. It's proprietary to them. They are changing their accessories, so it's hard for aftermarket companies to provide accessories. And if you go on to like the Find My...
I have to correct you.
Well, if you use the Find My iPhone thing, really has started to bother me, because it used to be Find My iPhone, you went online and you went to your cloud application and it found it. Now it's going, use another Apple product to find this.
No, you can still do that at iCloud.
It's
still on the website.
I guess my point is,
We'll show you
I haven't used the site specifically in a while, but like I was trying to just find it through a Google search. It was impossible. It was impossible to find the process to get there, because everything was, we'll take you to the App Store to buy it, or we'll take you to your phone to find it, but we're not going to get you to...
Yeah, they did move it because they changed the name, but it's like iCloud.com. But going back to the connectors, there are third-party connectors. Like I'm using one right now from Monoprice.
Right.
That costs
and giving us a nice hum when you move that.
$4 or something like that.
Well, let's...
You can obtain them cheaply, just not in the stores here in Vermont.
It feels to me like they're not learning the lesson from when the original Macs were up against the PCs, and the Microsoft operating system took off, and the original Mac operating system didn't, and part of that was because the Microsoft operating system was available on clones. You could buy from IBM or from anybody else. There were all kinds out there, and that wasn't good for IBM, but
I thought it was mostly because it was really cold all the time back then.
What happens is Apple is on a release schedule where every other phone has a significant upgrade.
I know.
The S series, let's call them, is always just like a speed bump and a camera improvement. And I think that people are a little bit unrealistic to expect a brand new, here's a game-changing phone every single year. A company can't survive like that. You have to kind of...
Yeah, but the problem is Apple set themselves up for that. For a while
they really did.
And so everybody, it's kind of like every new season of SNL, and people go back and go, hey, wait a minute, this used to be great, and they come out and say, oh, this is going to be great again, and it's like, well, I mean, it's, after Steve Jobs coming out there every time and going, here, this is what's new. Oh, and by the way...
He didn't do that every time.
Well, hold on.
People are rewriting history, because it's always been a 2-year release cycle of the brand new thing. And I think people are expecting it every 6 months with every time they refresh a product. They expect... Here's the latest brand new thing, the next iPad. But that's not. No company can do that.
That's a valid point. But there's also blame that can be laid in the fact that Apple goes out of its way to promote the upcoming product launch announcement and try to make it essentially into a holiday practically. You're placing expectation upon yourself by throwing so much media attention into your announcement of your minor upgrade. that's why you set yourself up for failure.
That's true.
And the same thing I hear from technology people all the time is the same thing. There's no point in getting the S if you have the same number series because it's really not that big a deal. It's not that big a change. And the thing is that the processors are nice, etc. The real killer for me with Apple is memory.
Yeah.
They don't offer enough memory for what they want the product to be. They want it to be your all-purpose solution. They want it to play music. They want it to play video. They want it to do whatever else. And it's always a 16 gig, which holds nothing. And then, I mean, look, not for nothing. I'm frustrated because my iPod died recently. I lost, much like your headphones, I have one channel. So, and it's...
Are you sure it's not just your ears?
It might be my ears, but I lost right channel on it, and it's really frustrating to use for anything. iPods, for podcasts, anything else, because you can't get a proper volume out of it anymore. And it's a 150 gig, and I have 90 gigs of music, and I have, just in the Omera show, I've got all the Omera shows on a hard drive, all the TMOS shows. So in terms of podcasts, I have like 100 gigs. So the only way I can buy a device that keeps a wide variety of the newer podcasts I listen to and all of my songs in one place is to buy the classic 150. I can't buy one with a nice large screen unless I decide to buy two and dedicate one to podcasts and one to music.
Yeah, but
that's a limitation.
Okay, hold on. The thing about it is, and I would agree with you if we were talking 3 years ago, but right now, based on whether you're using an Android platform or using the Apple platform, you don't have to have the memory anymore. If you
you can pull off a cloud.
If you use their services appropriately, you can pull it right off the cloud. If your entire library is up there, you can pull it down.
Right.
Now, it does require you to be connected to Wi-Fi, so it's not like you're going to be in the car.
And if I want to go and pay to store the stuff that I bought on disk up to the cloud.
In some Apple's circumstances, not all. Because in the case of Google, you can just download the Google Play Manager, and it will automatically upload every audio file you have on your computer. Automatically.
Yeah.
It's not costing me anything.
Right.
And it's all up there. Now I have my Samsung phone. Well, all I have to do is I open up my Samsung phone, I go to Google Play, look at my entire library that's on that I have up in the cloud, and then I just pin all the things that I want to my phone.
Right.
And I can change that easily enough.
Yeah.
And you can play that game versus worrying about whether or not you're Rob Spiewak and you need to have the largest memory possible because you need to have 10,000 songs, 5,000 jingles, and a couple of other sound effects on your iPad at all times. So you just got to learn how to play the game. And I totally understand. I mean, it's a frustration. But I think that Apple set up the frustration and the expectation for consumers also because remember back in the early days, every release was a big release. And it started with the iPod. Then it went, and even with the iPod and the changes that happened to the iPod, the first one was that huge thing. And then the next one was really slimmed down. And then the next one had video. And it felt like there was really some significant changes going on with the iPods as it went through.
Well,
then you've got the iPad. Boom.
Right.
In the midst of that, we're going to launch an iPad. We're going to open up a whole new marketplace. So, boom, you get that. You get the iPhone. Game changer in the phone industry. And you get 1, you get 2, and then 3 decides to go with an S version. Now you go S's for the remainder. So they started off with an expectation of major changes, but then they now are in a cycle of having these interim changes that are happening as well. And so, yes, every 2 years, the tech guys get really excited about something. And we've heard Todd talk about it before. He was not thrilled about the last. He wasn't real thrilled until this last announcement when they made the major changes to the iMac. Not the iMac, the
Mac Pro.
The Mac Pro. He was waiting for that, and it took him forever to do that. And they were kept
they were
doing
waiting
these
on
little
the chipset from chips from Intel, the new ones.
Well, and the other thing that Apple's got to be careful of with the the iPhone and the iPod and that kind of stuff is they don't want to be Sony because remember they took out Sony in the 80s, the Walkman and the Discman and the rest of that. I mean Sony was synonymous with portable portable music, portable audio.
Walkman.
The Walkman and the Tape Man and the Discman and all those things were just, I mean, that was what you used, and
Right.
there were other people that made cheap ones, but if you had the money, you bought the Sony, and now Sony is, they're gone out of that market, and it's Apple, and Apple wants to keep that because they know if they're if they're not careful, and I don't think they're being careful. I think Jobs knew that, and I think everybody else is trying to be Jobs instead of actually being Jobs, and I think that's their problem.
It's about innovation and allowing your people to be innovative, and then putting out that innovation.
Well, they're not done for this year. There's going to be something in October, or if not sooner.
What is it going to be exactly? I mean, what
That-
do you
that's-
speculate it'll be?
My best guess, it's going to be some kind of wearable technology that interfaces with your iPad and your
Oh,
iPhone
good. It's
and-
the Apple
the Google
Borg.
glasses.
But it's
No, it'll be worse than that because what was it, the Samsung that had the release this past week or the week
Right.
before, where now they've got a watch,
Mhm.
and so you lift up your arm like this to speak into the watch. So the speaker is here, the microphone is here.
Dick
So I'm
Tracy,
like,
anyone?
So I'm like this.
I don't think Apple's going to do anything.
Does
like
this
that.
not look? If you're on the
Yeah.
subway and you're talking on the phone like
So
this,
the speaker's
do
here.
I
Oh,
not
wait,
look stupid?
Marcus.
Wait,
First
the
of
mic
all,
is here. Is
You
the
can't do it
speaker
like
on your
this.
finger?
You can't do it like you're going to do a princess wave. What you have to do is you have to do it like every cool security guard in the movies. You have to cup the fist and then talk into the side of the sleeve.
We've got the package.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Right.
I know.
POTUS
Well-
is on the move.
By the way, speaking of the Google Glass, have any of you guys actually tried it?
No.
I have. Yeah.
It's the most annoying thing. I was at a
Corrective
party and one of my
lenses.
friends brought it, and well, you can wear it over glasses. You actually can, but
Why would I-
Because that's
and
always
you're-
a good look.
it
My
really-
favorite part of a 3D movie is how I have to figure out how to balance two glasses at
Exactly.
once.
half of me says, "Gee, this is really cool," and the other half of me is like, I would be walking into things all the time. I
Yeah,
mean, they claim
it's
that
really
the thing is out
distracting.
of the way, and you can ignore it when it's not there. And maybe after, I mean, I was only playing with it for half an hour, but the entire time I was like not looking at the world around. I was just in my
They
own
look
little shell.
stupid.
The first problem with any portable device that other people are not going to be able to easily look over your shoulder is half of the functioning workforce of America will be watching porn.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. I think Google.
No,
has
they already
really
locked
screwed
that
themselves.
out.
Exactly.
Well, that'll sell the product.
They locked it out. The industry was already in the development, apparently, from what I understand from the news stories. And then Google decided to lock them out.
Let's all talk about the reality, which is all this stuff is wonderful and great, except the biggest problem we have right now is that we live in a country where all of our telecommunication companies are going to throttle and limit your access. So all this technology is great, but we don't have the speed to run it.
Right.
Oh, that's because the technology, that's because the devices will get more expensive and force you to have to get into a plan.
Right.
I mean, Katie was talking about it. She is in the place where she would upgrade her phone, and she's on an unlimited plan. She might have to shell out $600, $700 if she wants this new 5S. It'll be a little less expensive for the 5C, but what is the point? I mean,
I know.
And
believe me,
even,
I thought about
and
it
even
because
with
I
the
had the same
unlimited,
problem.
even with the unlimited plans now, they throttle you. So
Right. That's just
you're,
it.
you're not really
That's
unlimited
beyond
anymore.
financial. They affect the speed at which you can access material and upload and download. So that's great because everything's going to be cloud based, but you're not going to have direct access to your cloud.
Let's also acknowledge for the fact that we, at least the three of us, Jason, myself, and Steve, also live in a place that's very limited.
Yes.
Because if I lived in a major city, I might be more apt to go with something like Sprint,
Right.
which offers you the unlimited option. It does not throttle you, and the coverage is better. Here in Vermont,
Whereas
the
Vermont,
coverage
it's
stinks.
a straight line down Route 7, and that's it.
Correct. So if I go 5 miles off away from my house, I lose signal. It sounds like WTNT. It's pretty bad.
My former supervisor used to tell me all about it. I'm like, look, I've got family that I go see in Heinsberg. I've got things I do in Bristol in terms of laundry. I'm like, there's no service there with
So
Sprint.
we're
It's
limited.
terrible.
You have
terms of
AT&T
laundry.
or Verizon. That's our
things
only
I do in terms of laundry. You could just say I do laundry there. No, there's things I do in terms of laundry.
Well, laundry, going to Bristol for various errands, etc.
If you've never noticed in listening to Americast, Jason has a way of carrying on a conversation
With
by
himself?
adding a lot of words to a sentence which was already long enough. I'm just saying. But let's carry on. Obviously,
can I say one other thing about the Google Glass? I know I'm going back for a second, but the one thing about it that I think is really cool is it's got an inductive speaker system. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but it's up against one of the bones. The back of the thing's up against one of the bones in the back of your head, and
Occiput,
all of the sound is vibrating your head, which is kind of weird. But at the same time, it sounds like you don't have headphones in your what.
His phone is whistling.
Sorry.
No.
You don't have headphones in your ears, but it sounds like you do, and you're thinking, okay, everybody can hear what I'm doing, but they can't. Nobody else can hear it because it's just your head vibrating, which I can't.
Right.
I don't know whether that's good for you or not, but it's
Probably
really
not
cool.
long-term. We'll probably discover it grows a tumor at some point in time. By the way, thanks for ruining that for me, because just for one brief second, that right hand plug, like the bluebird of happiness was over here. Like, hey, I brought you a job. Thank you, little bluebird.
And of course, with the compressors on, like happens with TMOS all the time, nobody else heard that. We're talking about something, and they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
I know.
I'm not wearing headphones, and I didn't hear it.
I could hear it in the ear that does not have sound in it. So when he had that face, I knew exactly what he was talking about.
I looked at his window because came through the right channel.
Again, this would not be a more broadcasting show if it wasn't full of technical issues and distractions.
Let's just call it what it is, a show full of idiots.
It is. It is. And that's why Rob continues to give me crap.
Yeah.
I suppose we can't really call it what it is because that's cluster. It starts with cluster and ends with something that you'd have to bleep.
A cluster muck?
Cluster muck, that's exactly.
Cluster muck.
Cluck.
Yes. Well,
Charlie Foxtrot.
Technically speaking, since this show isn't on the radio, I should be allowed to say whatever the hell I please. But I try to
and he's still self-edited.
I try. I try.
And see, this is the problem with having the show run by a guy who fancies himself at least a part-time radio guy. I mean, if it was just you and me,
right? Yeah.
If it was just you and me, Jason, it would be. I mean, it would not be safe for air. But Marcus
wouldn't
wants
be safe for listeners.
This is true. Marcus is thinking at some point there's a chance somebody might actually hire him to be a full-time DJ again, and then they'll hear this and go, "Oh, hell no."
Your hope is that Rob Spivak has one too many pieces
of
bacon.
There's always that hope in the back of my brain that somewhere at some time somebody will offer me the opportunity to be on the radio on a full-time basis. And believe me, I would do it cheap because I have a passion for it. But anyway, this isn't about
well,
me.
He is cheap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cheap and dodgy.
And you know just exactly how fast he'd abandon us if he had that opportunity. It's like, see you guys, I'm doing something else now.
Welcome to the new morning show, Cheap and Tawdry. I'm cheap. I'm
Tawdry.
All right, let's
you
carry
let
on.
Somebody else say I'm Tawdry, Jason. All right, let's try it again.
We got to carry on. We got to talk about some other issues that came up technologically. Mike is frustrated about Facebook.
My solution was this, and at first I said, "I'm sorry, I have bad news, but I think our only next step is to contact Facebook.
Okay,
no matter how slow it is.
Impossible to do.
It's our only step.
Excuse me. Impossible. We just discussed that. What did Oscar say?
Snowball at the sun.
Throwing a snowball at the sun.
Well, you know what? That is.
And I know it doesn't matter, but first of all,
into the sun.
But the fact is, I have done it. I've done it 6 days before you'd gone to the Genius Bar.
Done it.
Then
I have sent them multiple messages. They don't return. There is no way to so the very fact. So when the Genius Bar dude said the best way is to get in touch with Facebook, he said the best way to do this is to throw a snowball at the sun.
What? Well,
and you went, okay, goodbye.
All right, I'll call
and that was
you.
it. Not that I wanted you to argue, but I would have stayed in that Genius Bar and gone, that is a solution that I have tried. I have not. It is not. You can't do it. You can't do it. So
his actual solution was have him not do what he did to his settings. Because he was convinced
first of all,
he said that he's convinced that there's some settings something.
No, Rob, hold on. If I'd done something to my settings,
right,
then I would have changed the settings specifically for Facebook.
Right.
And then I would have logged on and something would have happened. This problem occurred. I did nothing.
I have a thought.
I did nothing.
Wait, everything's going to get fixed now.
Yes. What if we went into your settings, and I know this is thrilling for the
for
listener at home.
Facebook?
Yeah, for Facebook,
right.
and just went all to default. That would go back to square one.
I've done it.
They went mental this week about the Facebook. I mean, Mike is beside himself, and it's totally understandable. Facebook is key to their communication with listeners. I'm sure it's key to his communication, getting the feedback in as well as getting the information out. So when it's not working properly, of course he's going to lose his mind about it. Could you imagine if Rob didn't have Facebook in the same way? Oh my God, that Wurlitzer wouldn't stand a chance, because he would put so much. He just wouldn't know what to do with himself.
No,
he'd be spinning out of control, totally. I mean, but no one has been able to provide him a simple solution. I know for myself, trying to interact with Facebook, it's impossible unless you're an advertiser, right? And you're talking about advertising. If you say, hey, I've got money and I'd like to spend it with you, they're happy to pick up the phone. But otherwise, for any other issue, F you.
Pound send.
Right. Anybody tried to contact Facebook here?
Oh, yeah, their page, their report something, I had a friend of mine who's somebody, they got reported or something, and their page got taken down, and it said, you've been reported for some violation or other, and it got taken down. If you want to protest this, if you want to, you can click this button here, and you think it's going to bring you to a page where you can give your argument, say, hey, what's going on? You click the button, it says, thank you, somebody will be in touch. And then they never are. There is nothing more to it. If you don't like something they did, they're like, the heck with you. We're Facebook. What can you do about it?
It's kind of like trying to return something to Amazon.
Did any of you people watch the
Returning
social
stuff
network?
to Amazon's easy.
Yeah.
No, it is, but I've had moments where I wanted to pick up the phone and call somebody, and have had trouble trying to find that phone number. I love Amazon, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore because they're sponsoring this show. But I think with any major corporation, you get to a particular size, and you get to the point where you cut off human contact.
Yeah, it actually reminds me a lot of the old Lily Tomlin skit about the phone company. We don't care, we don't have to, we're the phone company.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Every time I think
he's
pulled out a dated reference, he goes a couple of years further back.
He's kind of picking up the slack. He's kind of like the Rob of the show.
Well, I might also be the oldest guy in the room, I think.
No, the sad part is I'm the Rob in the
compete.
room because I know everything you're talking about. I get every single reference. Did neither of you see The Social Network?
Yes, of course.
I did not.
Okay, well, see, you have an excuse. You don't. Is there anything about that movie that you watched or any interview the real man has done that makes you think the words Mark Zuckerberg and people skills belong in the same sentence without the words has no?
I would agree with you.
We're not talking about Todd Moore. And Todd,
I do think
as we know, has a few blips.
But here's the thing.
I do think it makes sense that his name starts with Zucker, because I think that's... I think his first name should be Mother, but otherwise...
Look, Facebook, and if you're going to refer back to the social network,
right?
I understand. I understand exactly what you're talking about. People's skills do not seem to be his forte. He's a tech guy. He's a tech head. His brain is in that
more than just
realm.
being a tech head.
But the thing about it is that you get to the point, you build up a company of this size, you surround yourself with people, you add personnel. Somebody along the way should have enough understanding of going, we're connecting people. Maybe we should support those people.
I don't know.
Maybe we should hire some people to talk to the people that we're trying to connect.
And if they started losing people, I read some,
I
don't know exactly what it. Well, they're starting to lose the younger people a little bit, but
that's how you die.
Yes,
in this
but
business.
but the younger people
Ask
are not.
MySpace.
But the younger people are not the ones that are going to worry about whether they can contact somebody with technical support. They're leaving because it's not cool anymore.
Their parents are on it.
Yeah, well, it's not even that. It's a pain in the ass.
But the thing is, why would they have to? I mean, I don't remember what the statistics are, but there's something like 70% of the people in the world have a Facebook account. I mean, it's some like colossal amount.
It's
I forget
ridiculous.
what it was. And so why would they need to care? As long as we're flocking to them, as long as we're signing up for these accounts, and many of those accounts are active regularly, why do they need to care? We don't make them care.
Regardless, they don't have time to care. They have all their energy invested into figuring out what can we do to completely muck this up in our newest update. What can we do to alienate all of our users.
And people
to
say
change,
that. And
to change all our...
every time they change things spectacularly, and everybody says, oh, I hate this, I'm never going to do it, and then nobody goes away, and then 6 months later they come out with a new one, and it's like, oh, but the last thing was the greatest thing. Wait a minute, where were you 6 months ago when you were saying this is going to kill this?
Well,
and now you're saying it's the greatest thing that we're losing.
I'm not a young demographic, per se, anymore. I'm 37.
You're saying what? I'm sorry.
Well,
really? You're kidding.
Quiet down, old man winner.
Well, hold on. Before
I thought that was just highlights in your hair.
Before the two of you get into it, let me turn to Steve, because Steve is a Twitterer. He is not a Facebook guy.
Steve is a twit?
He is a twit. Steve, were you ever on Facebook?
Briefly, yeah. About a year.
About a year. And what did you do on Facebook?
Connected with people that I used to be friends with more. That's all I really used it for.
Standard stuff.
Yeah.
You weren't farmvilling it.
No.
No. So just standard statuses and looking up friends. What was the major thrust that you said, I'm out of here and I'm going to go to Twitter only?
The privacy, or there is no privacy on Facebook. What really pushed me over the edge is how they started putting these cookies on every website. So when you visit a website, it connects to your profile, and they're using it to sell your ads. But they're building a profile on every user.
The problem I have with people complaining about the privacy on Facebook, it's kind of like somebody gets on television, you know, gets their own show, goes out there, lives their entire life on the show, and then says, I don't have any privacy anymore. If you weren't such an attention whore, I mean, we all are, but we go out there and we post shit on Facebook. Sorry,
welcome to America.
You post stuff on Facebook.
I want to write that time down.
Yeah, I apologize for that. They post stuff on Facebook that...
Welcome to the long, slow slide into not caring.
You post things on Facebook that you probably wouldn't go and announce at work or say out loud in public, but you post them on Facebook, and then you turn around and go, you know what? I'm not sure I trust Facebook with privacy. You just told the world you have hemorrhoids. Why are you worried about...
For me, it wasn't that. For me, it's they're connecting your browsing habits and your shopping habits and your purchasing habits with your profile to sell... specifically to sell to advertisers.
So do you boycott Google too? Because Google does that a lot more than Facebook.
Yeah,
does.
No, absolutely. I was going to say
I limit my usage of Google a lot more. But Facebook is doing it in a way where, if you listen to what Zuckerberg has said in the past and why he even created the whole service, to
get rich.
No. He created it. He started it to meet girls and to stalk girls in college. That's
okay.
The
let's
real
put
reason.
a disclaimer on that commentary.
No, this is a known thing in
this
the
show
industry.
is in no way affiliated with Steve Mermelstein.
This is a known thing in depositions and in public record. And he was going into girls' accounts that then that's what he was doing in college. It was all about meeting women so he would know what they like, so he can go and start a conversation with them in a bar.
Totally understandable.
Very creepy.
And I give him credit for making the play. I mean,
totally.
I mean, again.
Well, he's doing the same thing with advertisers now and trying to sell, market directly to you, and in a lot of scummy ways. And
I guess
my question is, how much is this going to be shared with other things like the
I guess my problem with the complaint though is that yes, I agree with you, and I kind of don't like it, and I kind of don't like the fact that that's happening everywhere. But to some extent, there's not much we can do about it. I mean, you can't get online without somebody. I mean, your ISP is paying attention to the stuff you're doing. Google's paying attention to the stuff. Your cell phone company is tracking everywhere you go. Because
your grocery store has done this with their discount cards.
But here's the thing: all those things have been straightforward with this. Facebook has constantly lied and changed the rules over and over and over. And they've been caught lying at this.
I think the difference is that they've been... I don't think it's that they lie and other people don't. I think they're more inept at lying. Honestly, I don't think it's that they're doing all that much different than other people. I think they're just getting caught. I mean,
think when you have 70% of the market, you're more likely to stick out.
And Google goes out there and their company motto is "Don't be evil." Well, it kind of depends on what your definition of evil is, because some people, there are certainly people out there who think that making money for the shareholders is the
Google
definition.
Look,
of,
let's just be straightforward.
I like Google a lot, but I mean, you can't, you have to admit, they're tracking stuff, they're doing all. It's not. We don't have a privacy world. If you're online, you don't have privacy, and you can
hold on.
It
goes far. It goes far greater than that. And the funny thing is that people talk like the World Wide Web came, and all of a sudden your privacy went out the door. It was gone long before that.
Yeah.
By the way, that's how the direct mail business began.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the fact that they were tracking your catalog sales or catalog buys, and they were tracking other information, because every time you would buy a house, your mortgage ended up in a database. Every time you got an insurance
that's
payment,
the thing. Whenever computers get involved,
happened.
it just gets more efficient. That's all it is.
But even before then, they were creating databases in order to do that, and then they were pulling that information. It was harder back in the old days. Now it's much easier, and everybody's doing it, down to the point of, yes, you're right. You go to the Safeway, you go to the Price Chopper, you go to whatever grocery store, and they're tracking everything you buy. Mm-hmm. And now I go to the Price Chopper, and I take my card, and I scan it. I don't get sent coupons anymore. I just scan it when I go to the store, and it automatically prints out relevant coupons for my shopping experience, because it knows what I'm going to do.
But the difference
your privacy is gone.
I get what you're saying. It's a degree.
They're not changing the rules as
they're
they
not
go.
lying about it, but they're not advertising.
Yeah, exactly.
And then saying,
But
here's private stuff you put on Facebook, and it's private, and the next day you wake up and all of a sudden it's all public because Facebook decided to make it public.
The problem is, it's not Steve's problem is not the fact that your privacy is gone or is here or there.
Right.
It's about the lying. It's about he's taking a point of view of morality or ethics.
I get his point of view. I can address it twofold. One, in terms of the lying, there are lies of omission and lies of commission. Okay, I realize that you're feeling that there's much more lies of commission going on with them, but all of this that we're talking about are lies of omission. It's not like they go out of their way to make sure we know they're tracking them. They don't give you a contract to get your shopper card and at the top say, by the way, we're going to keep track of every single thing you ever buy.
How long
and we're going to run
those...
a matrix on it, and we're going to figure out how to target you as a shopper to increase your incident of shopping here and get you to spend more money with us.
When you sign up for that, it's known that is, and there is a privacy policy.
It is now, but how many years did they have those things? There were many, many years that those cards are just loyalty
because they got
rewards
caught.
cards.
Somebody got caught, and then there was a lawsuit, and now there's a disclosure to prevent the lawsuit. Facebook is going through that growth process as a company now.
The difference is
with their popularity.
Facebook was saying this is private, and then they just decided to change that without notice.
Here's the bottom line.
And that's why they got in trouble with the FTC.
And I'm going to say this, Steve, and it's not to be a dick.
Right.
It's going to come off dickish.
No.
If you go to a website that is a social website and you enter information, you are freely giving information to a company.
Right.
And you have to expect that there's a potential for that information to be abused or utilized by that company in a way that you don't want it to be.
And
they're a website that does not charge you to be a member, so you know that your information is probably getting sold and you're getting targeted with ads because that's how they're going to make their living. They're not doing this for free. They've got to have huge servers to keep their operation going with the volume that's on there.
And the way you
nobody is arguing that.
Right.
Nobody's arguing that point. We all get the fact that that's the game that's being played. We get it. The thing about it is that we, as the natural sheep that we are, people are sheep. We get to a point where we keep moving with the flock, and we ignore anything that's happening. And
I agree.
You go onto a new website. How many times have you received a privacy statement in the mail, just thrown it out and not read it? How many times have you got a privacy statement in your email and chosen not to read it? Because guess what? We get them all the time. Everybody sends them out because they have to now. We know that everybody's playing the game.
Right.
So I want to take it out. I want to stop the discussion from the aspect of I think we understand. We get it. I understand where Steve's coming from now, this is about ethics.
Right.
He believes that Facebook is just being ethical in the way that it plays the game.
Non-ethical.
It's not about the fact that they're in the game. It's about how they're doing it.
Right.
So I get it. Now, I mean, believe me, I would love to, from the aspect of just how I interact with people, ease of use, I'd love for people to ditch Facebook and move on to some other platform like a Google+. Because for me, it's a much easier platform to use. I use Twitter in a completely different manner. I love Twitter. I use it all the time. But I know what they're using my data for. I know how they're using my data. I get hit with ads all the time.
That's the thing about Twitter is, I mean, Twitter's the same way. They've got every tweet you've ever made. They keep track of this stuff. They tell you, okay, we were getting X number of tweets per second on this particular topic. They keep track of all this stuff. It's all back there. If they were to sit down and start trying to, the only difference is that they're either not doing it or not saying they're doing it. But that doesn't mean they're not next year going to say, okay, well, we've got this huge backlog of stuff. Somebody's figured out a way to mine it for data.
Right.
Let's go and do it. Anytime you put something out there, it's a lot like us on these microphones. Like, for instance, a couple of guys last week who neglected this fact. When you've got a microphone in front of you, you need to assume that it is on.
That is true.
Because if you say something, and how many times have we seen people in the public eye get themselves in trouble because they've made some comment?
Our vice president.
There was one. Well, Reagan did one a long time ago where he was mic testing and he said something about, "I've just signed legislation that will outlaw Russia forever. We begin bombing in 5 minutes," and he took a lot of crap for that. And Jimmy the Greek, and I mean, there's a lot.
Jimmy the Greek was on the air.
Well, that's right, he was. But I mean, there have been lots of cases of people who didn't know they were on the air and they've gotten in trouble. And I think social networks are the same way. Because I mean, I've posted stuff before that I thought I had set the privacy settings so that it wouldn't go to the people that I was insulting, and guess what? I forgot to do that, and it went out to everybody. You got to assume
the classic
that
reply all email.
Exactly. You got to assume that anything you post is going to be seen by everybody. And if you do that, privacy doesn't become an issue because you can't be surprised when you screw up or when they do something with it because you have to expect that was a possibility anyway.
So how the hell do we get back to what the original question was?
Was there an original question?
I don't think we do.
It was something about Facebook and he was pointing out Mike and the guys kind of went crazy about Facebook this week,
and
they
did.
Now we
it
did.
Spiraled into a totally different issue.
Well, we had our own little fight, and that will lead me to my next clip.
We hope you enjoyed this bonus clip.
I know. This little heated moment of Tech 4-in-1
this
here
was
on
for only
Americast.
you at Blog Talk Radio.
I want to talk about, and I'm kind of glad that this kind of blew up a little bit because this will lead us into our next clip, which I will play right after we take this break right here on Americast.
Do you talk C++?
Do I?
Can you telnet into port 25 and fake an email?
Can I?
Do you like to surf the backplane of a router?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever hex edited your way to a registered version?
Sounds sexy.
We're not going to be talking about any of those things, but what will we be talking about, Oscar?
It's technology and the way it affects your life.
And we're going to be combining a lot of entertainment. It's going to be a good time. This is not your father's tech show.
Tech 4-in-1 show available on the More Broadcasting Network and on iTunes.
That means it's good, so please check it out.
Or don't.
Welcome back to Americast, and in the last segment, we attempted to talk about the issues that were going on with Facebook, which blew up into a whole different scenario. Well, as the conversation continued on TMOS, it kind of blew up there as well.
I am in Haymarket, Virginia, and he said, well, I'm in Leesburg.
I was about 20 seconds from my house at this point.
You said 10 minutes.
I said I'd be to my house in 10 minutes. I was at the gas station by my house.
Okay, but you said you'd be at your house in, you just said 20 seconds.
Yes, I was 20 seconds away from my house because the plan was to get gas.
Why did you say you were 10 minutes
Do you want to
away?
listen or what?
Because you said on the phone.
Do you want to listen?
You said on the phone 10
Do
minutes.
you want to listen?
You said it. I'll be like the Genius Bar. You said 10 minutes.
I did because I was at the gas station. I was going to get gas. I was going to go and get some groceries and then be at my house.
Oh, so the 10 minutes.
I was going to be at my house in how many minutes?
No.
10.
No.
10 minutes.
Hold on a second.
All right.
You bull.
What? That is not. It's
because you're saying 20 seconds on the show when you said 10 minutes to me. I don't care what the circumstances. Hold on. When you say 10 minutes away,
you're not listening.
No. I haven't listened to everything you're saying. When
I
you
said I
7
was 20 seconds from my house
Stop.
because I was at
you
the gas
don't play
station.
your fucking games with
No,
me,
it's
Rob.
not a game.
You're sitting there. The fact is, on the phone with me yesterday, what you said to me was, I'm 10 minutes away from my house. You didn't say anything about, I'm at the store, I have to get gas.
What
I'm
I
at the
said-
store, I'm actually 20 seconds. You were saying 10 minutes.
What I said
That's
is I'd be
you're
home in
making
10
it
minutes.
sound- you're making
no,
it,
I'm not. I'm not trying to make it sound that way.
You're making it sound like I set
You're
you out.
conjuring.
I'm not conjuring.
Team Mike. Thank you, Oscar.
Can I hold up that sign too?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm pissed.
Well, I guess you are.
Because look, the show is out $250 now.
Oh, jeez.
And the fact is, I don't have a solution to the problem because you lay down for this douchebag at the Genius Bar, and that's the bottom line.
That was a bit of an unexpected blow up on the show this week. It was radio freaking platinum.
Yeah.
But the last time there was a blow up like this, there was someone missing on Monday's show.
Remind me of that scenario.
No.
Buzz and Mike had a blow up.
Oh, right, yes. But
He wasn't missing on the Monday show, though, was he?
Well, no. Remember, the last, and I know the conversation he's referring to. There was the big blow up on the show between Buzz and Mike, and
wasn't that before
but
the first
honestly,
time Buzz was going to leave though?
It was
I don't
a
think
while
it was before
back.
the second one.
No, there was a second one.
Buzz and Mike had a couple.
Yeah.
I don't remember having one like this between Rob and Mike. Regardless, the conversation between Buzz and Mike was really about philosophical views, looking at an issue and kind of tearing it apart. Here's a circumstance where they both have differing point of views, or at least their experience of the circumstances were very different.
Now, who I got to ask all of you, who do you think was being the bigger jerk there? Because I'm with Rob. I think Rob was making perfect sense. You can say, I'll be home in 10 minutes, and yet I'm 20 seconds away from my house. I'm sitting at my car. I'm got the gas pump in my tank or whatever it's going, so it's going to be 10 minutes before I get home, and yet I am 20 seconds from my house if I was driving right now. That made perfect sense to me. I think Mike was being. I probably shouldn't say this because this could affect you, but I think he was being unnecessarily dickish there.
I think
I know this part's going to be cut out too. Because,
all up the ante. I think he was being Mike O'Mara.
All right, yeah.
I think,
but it was entertaining. So I mean,
it was highly entertaining.
To some extent,
Conflict is entertaining.
If if you can be a dick and get ratings out of it, that's great. I mean, there are plenty of people out there that have done it, and so it could even have been ramped up that way for the ratings, but or for the entertainment value.
They were both kind of having a tantrum.
No, because it really sounded like Rob was having one of those. And I don't want to call
Rob
it.
Was screaming.
I don't want to call it a knee-jerk reaction, but he was responding in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
This was not something that was staged or
No.
amped up.
No.
And I think that Mike. I think that there was a misunderstanding on Mike's end, which turned into Mike's interpretation of the actual event, which then, again, in this particular conversation, blows up. And you've got two extremely strong personalities. And Mike's trying to tell his part of it. Rob knows that he's already off the rails and is trying to say, wait, hold on. You're not telling the whole story, not understanding the whole picture here. Let me explain it. And so I think this is what gets Rob so ramped up, so amped up, because Mike will not stand down for a second so that Rob can go, here, let me explain to you how this played out and why I said what I said.
I wasn't suggesting that Rob was amping it up, but I could believe that Mike was intentionally tweaking him a little bit. I mean, he's definitely been known to do that before. I could believe that there was a little aspect of, hey, Spiewak's getting a little bit upset here.
No,
I wonder if I can tweak him a little bit more.
The best tweaks came from Oscar.
That's true. Yeah, Oscar was definitely just fanning the flames. He wins the King Dick Award, just sitting back there and every once in a while throwing something out there.
He was putting bombs into the mix every 2 seconds.
If I may borrow a Will opening line, so wait, are you trying to tell me that Mike O'Mara put his own interpretation on something somebody else said?
Yeah, Oscar's sitting there like, oh, there's a fire. Let's see. I've got this big bucket of gasoline. Let's see what happens.
I think that's one of the reason that I love Oscar in this dynamic is that Oscar can surgically press a particular button
absolutely.
at the right time and kind of get them going. He does it to Mike all the time. In this circumstance, it was funny because Oscar was playing Switzerland, but yet...
No, he was not. He was not being...
Well, I'm trying to think
Last
of...
I checked, the Swiss didn't lob surgical missile strikes.
Well, he was kind of playing... He was very quiet, sitting back and then waiting for that right moment. Mm-hmm. And it worked out perfectly because if nothing else, in what we, the listener, was hearing, I think there were moments where I felt very tense about it. It was a very tense situation, and Oscar did a great job of not only kind of amping it a little bit, but again, making me laugh. That was perfect.
That one didn't make me feel tense. That one was pure laughing entertainment. The Buzz stuff made me tense.
Yeah, yes.
Listen to. That was tense.
Exactly.
Right.
Some of the
because
Buzz
that felt very much when that one happened, that it was Buzz arguing his beliefs and his philosophy, but doing so in what he felt was a respectful way, while Mike was being a little more aggressive and personal with him in the argument, which then Buzz started to feed into and get angry about, and it started growing. And that was one of those where I think most of the Mike, it got fanned for a few days because the listeners would all give Mike crap about it.
I remember
but that's
a couple
the way
of comments.
it felt. It felt one-sided. It felt like he was in it as a pit bull in a fight to win at all costs, like a Fox News host.
Yeah.
And Buzz was trying to make a point, and then Buzz got angry, and it started to get personal. And that was the one that felt like, well, this could be the end of a relationship.
Well, and I remember there were a number of comments on Facebook after that one along the lines of, this feels like mom and dad fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the heck is that noise?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Continue.
It's a technical issue.
Don't stop now.
Okay. It sort of did feel like that, being a child and watching your parents fighting, and it was that I didn't get from the Rob and Mike thing, that level of discomfort of this could really tear the family apart.
Right. Yeah, I didn't get that either. To me, there is a natural oil-water component to the relationship that goes back to the Don and Mike days, where Rob was Don's boy. Rob and Don were two peas in a pod. They were very similar personalities. They had all these common interests, and Mike and Rob did not really have a relationship. And that grew out of the departure of Don, and so now they've grown close in a similar fashion, but there is a difference between the two of them. There's a separation, but at the same time, I know they fight and they argue, and he always takes pot shots at Rob. It's what he does. That's Rob's role.
Did you know that Marcus played Minecraft while we were doing the podcast?
That's exactly what I was doing. No, but to throw my 2 cents in about those two arguments, because obviously you guys are trying to make strong comparisons between the argument with Buzz and the argument versus Rob. I honestly think that when you're talking about issues, especially the issues that he and Buzz were getting into, you're talking about very sensitive topics, very polarizing topics. And I think that the way Mike approaches a lot of things, he has a point of view, but at the same time, he's kind of working through the thoughts while he goes along. And I think in the argument that he was posing with Buzz, even though he had a point of view, he was still kind of working through some of it. Okay. Versus in this discussion, I think there was just a moment of Mike saying, look, you did something wrong, trying to point it out and going, look, you screwed up. I didn't, I don't know what the hell you were thinking. You totally misrepresented. And kind of really being a little...
No. There was Team Mike, Team Rob going on there. There was a distinct...
Yeah, I was trying to find the right word.
There was a distinct heel-dragging scenario where it's, this is how I feel,
right,
and you're going to acknowledge how I feel, and the other person's saying, you're not listening to what I'm saying, and I want you to listen to what I'm saying, and neither person's listening to the other. So it's just turning into aggression and anger and aggression and anger, and... It's great goddamn radio.
No, it was fantastic.
It reminded me so much of the Buzz thing. It made me uncomfortable. I got nervous, And the longer it dragged on, the more nervous I was getting.
It only made me uncomfortable because of the fact that I really felt as though Rob was getting truly pissed off.
Right.
Truly pissed off, and I felt as though he was justifiably PO'd because of the fact that Mike wasn't taking a breath and saying, give me your side of it. Now, it eventually happened. Later on in the story,
it wasn't even that. He was undermining
happen.
his argument while he was trying to make his argument.
There was a lot of button pushing going on, and so I kind of felt bad for Rob. I don't know why. That guy has been pushing my buttons all week. I'm just kidding. It's the only way I guess I know that they love me.
Yeah, I believe that's the common call of the abused. Yes. That's the battered wife excuse. Exactly. But I thought, I would agree. It's radio gold. I mean, when these guys really get into it one way or the other, they have a knack of being able to bust on each other's balls. But a lot of times it doesn't get heated. Right.
A lot of times it's just the occasional gentlemanly jab. We have those gentlemanly jabs around here on occasion.
I was going to say, I mean, in order to create a dynamic moment in radio, this was the pre-planned moment where Will comes over and slaps me in the face, right?
Right, exactly. He's totally in a different world. Yeah, he's totally in a different world right now.
I was trying to answer something on the Ustream chat, and Ustream won't let me actually type in there. It keeps telling me to log in, even though I am logged in. So my apologies. This is why I don't generally follow the chat, because then I'm not paying attention when you start slamming me or talking.
No, it was actually a joke at my expense that you were included in.
Oh,
but that's okay.
I should have piled on.
This has definitely been a tech-heavy show from either our own personal errors, talking about others' errors, or whatnot. And yes, I use the term whatnot. We've only got a few minutes left, guys, and then we've got to roll out.
We're apparently already off on Blog Talk. That's what they're complaining about. I was going to try and answer it.
That is true. We are currently off on Blog Talk due to some technical issues on Skype. So I'm sorry to the Blog Talkers. I will put up the full audio so they can hear it after the fact. They can still hear it on Ustream, I assume. No problems on Ustream. I don't know how we pulled that off. Probably starting a half an hour late helped.
Well, usually the key is 1 out of 4 works.
I know. You know, I'm thinking next week we should just do this in a cabin in the woods somewhere. Why not? What the hell? What could possibly go wrong?
We'll just bang it out on tin cans.
So, before we leave, I did want to, and we didn't get into the earlier discussion, but the four of us right now, tentatively speaking, at least the four of us and possibly more, are going down to Americon. What do you think about the road show? What do you think we should do? Should we do a road trip Americast?
Works for me. I mean, I think the idea that's been kicked around is doing essentially what the guys did when they went to Florida, which is
charging for it so you guys don't have to worry about not having jobs?
Save our asses.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of an open mic kind of concept where you record it, and there's going to be a lot of throwaway, but there's also going to be some stuff that wouldn't have been planned necessarily on radio that might be great.
When Jason forgets his credit card and we have to turn around and make a 2-hour round trip.
That's not going to be an issue because there won't be any money available on it. It's like going back to get an empty wallet. What's the point?
We're going to be at the Stuckies, and Jason's going to be like, I've already paid the ticket. Can you go start the car? Go on, go start the car. I'll be out in just 1 second. I'll meet you guys out there. And then you just see him dive in the window. Go, 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 go. That'll be our trip.
Hey, just like the Blues Brothers.
I was just going to say that.
You boys are going to look awful funny eating corn on the cob with no effing teeth.
Well, I think there's definitely a road trip. There's definitely a road trip show in our future. I think we should put that together, record some audio. I haven't decided whether or not we should do some audio before the show.
Right.
Because there's a certain portion of me that wants to go to the show and not have my hands full of equipment. I want to be able to just go and have my hands full of drinks. because I definitely know that there's going to be some pre-gaming involved. There's going to be lots of activities at Jimmy's Friday night, Saturday during the day. Then there's the show on Saturday night, and we got to get up relatively early depending on whether or not we've got Bozo over here in our car. So,
and the nice thing is on the cameras, nobody can tell which person you are referring to because they can't tell who's sitting where.
I'm guessing it's the one with a similar hairline to Bozo.
Bingo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for playing. I had a feeling that people looking at it visually would guess who looked most like Bozo in this crowd.
It's the nose, right?
Exactly. So, Roadshow, Road. Yeah,
Roadshow.
We're gonna do the Americast Roadshow. We're gonna have.
This is our money making plan.
Oh man.
Hey, anybody want to watch a couple of fat guys talk about food?
You know, at least one of us.
We're just gonna pass the hat.
At least
no food, money.
Yeah. So that you can buy food.
Money and food.
It's going to be the special Americast Road Trip DVD, which includes stops at McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell, and every other food.
No, we
fast
said no
food
Taco
chain.
Bell.
All right. No Taco Bell.
Yeah, it'll be so much better with all the other fast food.
And it's going to be at Smell-O-Vision, which is, really...
There'll be a
Marcus,
scratch and sniff
Marcus,
on the
forget
inside.
Amazon. We're going to have to go to Costco and get the giant pallet of Cottonelle wipes
I got to
for
ask,
you.
what size car are you planning on bringing? Are we going to blow out the transmission on this thing?
I am going to have to upgrade to the full-size car. Because it's the only way we're going to get our full-size asses in it. That's what I'm saying right now. That's what I'm looking at. So right now, there's at least the four of us.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I have the potential.
there's at least maybe one of us.
Well, there's the four of us in one car.
Right.
I have been talking with some others, so there's potential for another car, but not a car that we have to worry about. I only have to worry about our car. Can
we do this like the old movie Slapshot and get a couple of school buses?
For us, it'd be the short buses. Here's your helmet.
Well,
welcome on the bus.
Let's give it the full detail. It'll be the short bus because we want the lift gate. We are
the
that
problem
lazy.
with those buses is they have horrible ventilation. I don't think that's a good idea for us.
Steve throws in the comment of the day right there. We have to have it because it has poor ventilation.
Poor ventilation. Well, I like the safety feature, which is just slamming into the back of the seat in front of you in a car accident. That was always the best part of the school bus.
I just want a good reason why I'm to be in a vehicle and not have to wear a seatbelt. Absolutely. Pre-gaming, real quick. We going to pre-game before the show, or are you guys going sober in the hopes that maybe you get lucky?
I'm doing whatever I can afford.
I'm always sober.
All right, we're looking for anybody to buy Jason a free drink at America.
Jason's going to need more than a free drink bought for him.
Well, I think we're going to have a great time. We've got our table. We've got the car ready. We've got the hotels ready. So we are set. We just got to roll out and get there. I think I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be fantastic.
There was something about a Crystal City strip club?
That was suggested by Jasper, and no. That won't happen. I'm sorry.
There's 2 unemployed people in the room.
Well,
you can't make it. Well, you can make it. You can make it rain with food stamps, but it's not generally looked upon nicely by the strippers.
You haven't heard the story?
I wasn't even going to get into trying to slip government cheese into her stripper.
Oh. Well, it is better when you lick it before you stick it.
In anything you do, it's always better that you lick it before you stick it.
Oh.
I don't want to go there, and I'll talk to you about it off air, but I don't want to go there just because of the quality of the food.
The first time you meet the guy that wants to eat at the stripper club, there's a problem.
There's a place in North Rutherford, New Jersey we can stop at. It has a great sign out front. It says, "Eat good food nude."
Okay.
I don't want us to be nude.
Do you? Good point.
Please.
Do you
please,
have
please,
a book?
I don't want us to be nude.
Do I have a book?
Do you have a book? Are you the Michelin Guide
No,
and
no,
strip
no.
clubs?
That's what the Google Maps is for. It'll bring it up. You just put in the search what you want to pop up. And
so you're
boom,
telling
there it
me you
is.
sat down and entered "eat good food nude"?
Yeah, and of course, it's got all the little markings. So all along 89, 95, 91, whatever road we want to be on.
I'd
we're
make a
going
joke
to,
here, but I've been told not to.
We will have plenty of opportunities to have fun. So let's leave it there. Let's get the hell out of here because I've got work to do. It's 6 o'clock and I've got to go to work.
Wait a minute.
What?
You have to go to work.
I got to go to work.
Yeah.
Haven't we just been discussing?
Well, he's got a part-time gig.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I got to get my $20 for the week. You know.
It's going to get his spending money.
Yeah, I got to get my minimum wage job done.
That's
for
all the
week.
tips you get as a Chippendale?
You know,
Have you seen him?
The last time I opened for the Chippendales,
He's lucky
I made
he gets $20.
Hey, I made $7 when I opened
Well,
for them.
to be fair, the twirling croissants are probably a tenner each.
I was in Plattsburgh.
Nice
It's
callback,
hot over
Bill.
there.
That's awesome.
They like that and the bananas.
Leave it to the fat guy to remember the food.
I was gonna, I'm surprised he went with banana instead of cruller.
Well, the best
Bent to
is
the side a little bit?
is when if you do it right
A twist.
and you get the whole stack of a dozen of the ice of the
Blood sausage.
of the donuts.
You're overselling your equipment.
What are you playing, ring toss now?
If I need to raise money that way, that's what I'm gonna do. All right, let's end it there. Thanks everybody for listening
Everybody
to
welcome.
Americast.
Everybody
Yeah.
look to center stage for Marcus, the buffet Serta.
F you, pal. F you. If you haven't done so, please go to facebook.com/Americast today. Like the page. Continue the conversation. Make fun of Jason all you want right there on Facebook because it works for us. Our Facebook works, and we can see the posts. It's fantastic. The other thing that I wanted to say is I want to really thank Jason, Will, for coming out today.
Hey. Thanks.
Because,
he had the one piece of technology that worked.
And everybody who's had to sit here watching our ugly faces is definitely not thanking him for being here.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And
Thanks for destroying
please,
Thanks for destroying their dreams, Steve.
Yeah,
They might be okay to look at.
Listening and thinking, hey, he's got a real sexy voice. I wonder what he looks like. Oh, never mind.
Yeah. Hi, ladies.
It's always weird when you
Hi,
get
ladies.
to match the face up to the voice afterwards, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm on. Never mind. I'm not even going down this road. Otherwise, Celine will be all over my ass. So
If you're lucky.
that's true. Very true.
Let's all eat some of her pie.
Can I get out of here, please? I need to get to work.
I don't know. Can you?
Later, people. We're out of here. This has been Americast. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Ta-ta.
Ciao.
Adios.
Thank you to our sponsor, Rosetta Stone.
Steve with the kicker.
So are we still on?
I ended the recording, but I ended it after my last comment there. Because I am going to leave the Steve in there because that was a beaut. Way to go. Oh, Jesus Christ. What a fuck up. All right. So I got to redo this again. That way we can hear it in stereo and all that good NPR shit.
I actually did have stereo. It was just this one was a lot quieter than the
Is
others.
the Ustream still on? Can they still hear us?
I'm not sure. I think so. I think they can still hear us.
Hi, everybody. Hi,
It's
everybody.
locked up again.
So no talking about the
But it was working the whole show. It was just now it locked up.
no talking about the gigolo you hired last night.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
Nice. Way to throw that in now. That was supposed to happen during the commercial break.
I meant to ask you, how is Binging Barry?
Marion Barry?
No,
Well, I guess